What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So we actually have some rather bad news out this morning, but it's actually considered good news for the future of not just the United States but the entire world. So I want to address what's going on, and we are less than 2 months away from that date. We're also going to jump into what Russia and China are saying, what they are doing, and how they're warning the United States. Also, I want to address a major supply chain issue that is currently going on. So again, you do not want to miss this video. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always ask your questions down in the comment section below. All I ask is just spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and consider subscribing. Now let's jump right into it. First, what is Russia doing? Well, here's what we know. Russia has actually resumed gas flows into Europe. That's good news because the 10-day maintenance period actually ended or ends, I believe, tomorrow. But the good news is they're going to resume flow, which means there's not going to be a total shutdown. That's good news there. But that is just part of the good news. Here's the big news. Just 2 days ago, on Monday, or actually it was Tuesday, on Tuesday the 19th, we got a pretty much a red level alert from the Department of State from the United States. They are now saying, for one, Russia is a level 4, do not travel. Okay, but they put something out 2 days ago, and I want to read this. Okay, let me read this to you really quick because this is extremely important. Because what the United States is doing is they're telling U.S. citizens in Russia, U.S. citizens in Ukraine to get out. Just get out. Okay? I want to read this to you really quick. It says, do not travel to Russia due to unprovoked and unjustified invasion of Ukraine by Russian military forces. The potential of harassment against U.S. citizens by Russian government security officials. The singling out of U.S. citizens in Russia by Russian government security officials, including for detention, the arbitrary enforcement of local law, limited flights into and out of Russia, the embassy's limited ability to assist U.S. citizens in Russia, COVID-19 related restrictions, and terrorism. U.S. citizens residing or traveling in Russia should depart Russia immediately. Now, they are saying this due to wrongful detentions. Now, the reason I bring this up is because we have never really seen where the United States is like, well, we can't help you in this case. Now that's what they're saying, is they can't just send people into Russia and go pull you out. Right? That's not something that can happen. So if you are stuck, you are detained for whatever reason in Russia, well, you're going to be there for a little while because the United States is not going to jump into that to try to get you out. We're not going to, in most cases, I don't see it happening. But right now we have certain people that we have detained, and Russia has certain people they have detained. The main person right now that's being discussed is whatever Grenier, the basketball player. Now, some are saying that they're going to swap her for pretty much a terrorist. That is not going to happen. And that's what the United States is now saying is, don't think we can just come in and pull you out of a country, whether it's Russia or Ukraine. It's not going to happen. Get out. You have plenty of warning. Don't go to either one of those countries. Now, here's the reason why this is such a big deal. According to reports this morning, I'll show you this. The reports this morning, okay, says Russia moves to annex occupied Ukrainian land by September. That is big, okay? It says officials say votes planned on merging with Russia by September 15th, in less than 2 months. Now look at this. I'm going to read you this. The Kremlin is in a dash to hold referendums in Ukrainian territories occupied by its troops to give grounds for President Vladimir Putin to absorb them into Russia as early as September, according to people familiar with the strategy. It says the project is directed by Sergei whatever, the Kremlin's first deputy chief of staff, according to the people, with attention focused on the Donetsk and Luhansk regions in Ukraine's east, as well as the southern territories of Kherson and whatever that is. That guy, who is under U.S. and European Union sanctions, regularly visits occupied territories to oversee officials preparing for the referendums, they said. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because this is bad news for Ukraine, but it could potentially be good news for the rest of the world. Here's the only reason why. Now, for Russia to come in and annex, right, certain land from Ukraine, that's bad. That's not good. That's not a good. We knew this was going to happen. We knew this was the plan, that Russia had to pretty much get troops on the ground. Okay, they had to control the area. That's the first thing that they had to do. Now, according to reports, it looks like they've done that. The good news, though, is if Russia is satisfied with what they have done, they will pull out. That means we will see less deaths. We're not going to see as much military action, right? It's just going to go away for a temporary, could be a long time, could be a short amount of time. We don't know. But the good news is this would actually get the rest of the world back to somewhat of a normal state. We would most likely see a lot of the companies that left Russia are not going to go back. But we could see Russian trade start to get picked up again. And this could actually lower prices. This is the big issue. Right now, across the entire world, people are experiencing inflation. That's a huge problem, especially if many countries are expected to go into a recession. Some are already there. The United States, some are expecting, we got a 50% chance of going in and dipping into a recession within the next few months. Here's the thing. We also only have, I think we got less than a week before we actually get the report as to whether or not we are in a recession as of right now. Some say we are, some say they don't know. So we will see. That is just one of the issues. Remember, there's two big issues, and this was coming back in January, even February, before the whole invasion happened. There were two big issues. One, Russia could potentially invade Ukraine. That would have been, devastating. It was. The second one is what happens if China is looking at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, seeing the United States' response. What happens if they decide they want to take over Taiwan? Well, that's the second big issue. Here's what we know. As of right now, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she wants to visit Taiwan. Okay. This is supposed to happen during Congress's pretty much summer recess, which is pretty much all of August. That's when, so within the next month, she wants to plan a visit to Taiwan. Here's the problem. The U.S. military says this is not a good idea. This is exactly what President Biden said. The American military thought Nancy Pelosi's visit was not a good idea right now. They say this would be a tough thing for China to swallow, to allow somebody of Nancy Pelosi's stature to come in and just visit. So, according to multiple reports, China is going to do something. If Nancy Pelosi visits, China is going to have some type of response. Some say they're just going to fly planes around. That could work. Some say they are going to make sure that they have military ships just off the coast. That could work. One article was saying that they would most likely have a planned missile test near Taiwan. Okay, that could deter Nancy Pelosi from actually, visiting. And what a few reports are saying is that the likely response from China is China's actually going to have somebody shadow Nancy Pelosi for her entire trip. So just understand, this trip that she may or may not make, it is going to have a ripple effect as to what we see, from China and with the United States. Just understand, it's a major warning. It's a major red flag if China's not even allowing some people to visit Taiwan. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But as we know more, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But I want to show you something else. Here's what I want to show you really quick. Right here it says, trucker protest shuts down operations at California port. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is because of this right here. This is one of the 10 busiest container ports in the country. That is massive. If one of the 10 busiest container ports in the country is now being pretty much shut down, it's being shut down because what's happening is these truckers are lining the streets. They're simply lining the streets, not allowing any movement. It says the protest that began Monday involves hundreds of independent big rig truckers that have blocked the movement of cargo in and out of terminals at the port, which is one of the 10 busiest container ports in the country. Now, here's the reason why I think this is such a big deal. Right now, we're at a crossroad. We're at a fork in the road. Do we fix this supply chain issue that we've had for years, or do we just go right into it? Do we continue to push back? Do we see things get fixed? Do things get worse? That's the worry. So this is a major supply chain issue. If truckers are blocking the port, that means they're not just blocking shipments from going in and out. They're also not taking those shipments, which means there's products that are not being delivered. One of the reasons why this is an issue, number one, we don't see products hitting the shelves. Okay, that's troubling. It means we can't buy things. That means things that we need, we will not get. The other issue is stores are already laying off employees because they are not seeing this year as being as profitable. We know people are not spending money like they used to. Even though some financial institutions are saying the American people still have money, we're still spending it like it's running out of style. But that's really not the case. Many people are not spending money. Lower income households are not spending money. Many middle income households are not spending money. Guess who's spending money? The people that have a lot of money. The upper tier, the top probably 5%, those are the ones that are spending money. Everyone else doesn't have it, trying to save it, or just trying to get a little bit more of it. That's the problem. So right now, what I can tell you is we are potentially months away from seeing some type of relief. If we see Russia pull out of Ukraine, that could be huge. It would mean prices would likely come down. Okay, we'd get more shipments. Then we need to see China will hopefully kind of ease up on their COVID policy, on their zero COVID policy. If they do, that could be some really good news. Then the next thing is we need to figure out a way to fix shipping within the United States. Again, that has been the problem for multiple years. So we're going to see what happens, but what I can tell you is that we are getting closer to potentially seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The problem right now is the next couple of months could be rough. They could be extremely rough for everybody involved. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.